For those who don't know us, I'm Bianca Woods. This is my colleague, Mark Britz. We're the senior managers of programming for the Learning Guild. And among the other things that we do in our work, we are organizing DemoFest. Mark, do you want to tell people what DemoFest is?
Yeah, so trying not to talk context specific. DemoFest is really a showcase of projects. So not demos of like certain products or services, but definitely things that are created by the community and showcased. It's a great opportunity for people to get feedback on what they've done. It's a great opportunity for people to learn through others. So it's a great social and informal learning opportunity, no real big agenda, as people kind of get under the hood of what they created, why they created it, and what kind of impact they had. Context speaking, if we were live at an event, physical face-to-face, we have a huge ballroom. We have tables everywhere, and each of the project demonstrators would be seated at these tables, showcasing exactly what they created in a multitude of categories. And we'll continue the categories in those pieces. And you, as an attendee, get to walk around and gather around these tables. Thanks, COVID. And ask questions of those who created it. And sometimes we've had upwards of 100 demonstrations happening around these projects in areas like, video and business process and sales training and AR and VR. So categorically, it's a great experience, a great way to learn.
And so we were talking about projects. I bet people are wondering, what kind of projects do you want to use and share at DemoFest?
Yep. What do you think, Bianca? I'll let you chime in. I've done a lot of talking. It's a good reflective question.
So one of the things I think I hear people say about DemoFest is, oh, I don't know that I have anything to share, because they think it needs to be some big, ginormous project that had massive impact on the company or wherever you work. And I think that's a misconception. What people at our event want to do is learn from other people in the learning and development field. And any project that you've worked on that has something interesting about it can work for this, can be something that other people gain inspiration from. Mm-hmm. So, even if it's a tiny project, but just something that maybe you did something experimental with it, or you think, it flowed together really nicely, it filled a nice little niche, that can work. I think people also sometimes forget what is, day to day for you could be innovative for someone else. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So as long as it's a project you feel comfortable sharing, even if for you it might not be the most innovative thing, there's someone else out there who still could very easily gain a lot from it.
Yeah, I'll add to that too, Bianca. I think the other thing to remember is, one, yes, it's something that you should have actually implemented, right? So it's not some proof of concept. It's more like this has been used with real learners and they had real input. And of course, you can talk about how well it did or did not meet the problem. The key piece is that people are looking for elements and ideas and insights and inspiration from your project. And the other thing is, you could show a portion of the project. You don't even have to go like running through an entire course. You want to single in on some key elements that you think would be valuable or you want feedback on. That's another way to approach it.
So what isn't a fit for DemoFest? We've talked about big or small projects. What do we want people to not do?
Yeah, I think, the first thing is, it's not a tool demonstration. So it's not about, I guess maybe this would speak more specifically to anybody in the vendor community. We love vendor projects. They have a place for us, but it's not really the opportunity to share a particular tool you have off the shelf and show how it works. It's more about, what innovative, creative solution, the key word is solution, what solution did you create to solve a specific problem using the tool? So in some of those cases, it's often we see a lot of projects that are hybrids of different technologies and approaches blended together for the solving of a specific problem, not necessarily it was created to solve this plethora of problems that are out there. So I think it has to be kind of focused on the solution is what we want to aim for people to be looking at.
Yeah, and I'll add to that, if you are a vendor and you have clients who have done really interesting things with your product, something that people can learn from whether they use your product or not, that is a good fit for Learning Solutions Demo Fest. We just don't
Mhm.
want it to be someone use your product right off the shelf,
Mhm.
nothing special about it other than they used what's probably a really good product.
Right. Yeah, and used it for what it's typically designed for, and it meets a broad segment of a population is not really what the intention of Demo Fest is. So I think to keep that in mind. The other thing I think too is, we are formally the e-learning guild. So we are looking for electronic solutions. I know there's a lot of great inspiration out there of more analog approaches to things, but we are looking for technological or technology innovation in the workplace. So keeping that in mind as well, I think is wise.
So Demo Fest is going to be a little different this year since we're holding Learning Solutions online. We can let people know what the proposal process is, and then also what on earth it'll be like to actually be at Demo Fest.
Why don't you take the first part and I'll jump in
Yeah.
a second.
So the proposal process, there is a proposal form online. It's pretty quick to fill out the first step. It's a two-stage proposal process. The first one is a very quick web form where you tell us a little bit about the project itself, what tools you used to create it, what problem it was solving, roughly what it does, and what evidence you have that it's working. And then there's step two. And step two is the really different part because we're doing this online.
Mhm.
We're asking people to pre-record their demos. So you do about a 4 to 7 minute spiel kind of covering, here's the problem, much like the proposal form. Here's the problem we were trying to solve. Let me tell you a little bit about the project and how we made it, what we learned from it. Here's how it's worked in the real world.
Mhm.
This is essentially the spiel that you would be doing at your table in the in-person Demo Fest. So if you've done that before, this is just recording it while showing either the front end of your project or the back end of your project on screen. So you submit your form, and then you have a little while to get us that video. And then that video is what we actually use for the online experience. And Mark, you
Mhm.
can talk a little bit about that part.
Yeah, so what we do, of course, the Learning Solutions event this year is the Learning Solutions digital experience. So Digital Demo Fest, or how we want to look at it, is going to basically, we're going to have the videos hosted in our Intendify platform where our attendees will be able to come, and as soon as they enter that environment, it starts for them. So these short videos you're going to be asked to create under 7 minutes, which is your spiel and walking people through the visuals and demonstrations that you have. They'll be able to jump in at their time, watch what's happening. And the ideal situation, of course, is the demonstrator, the creator of the project, is available in the chat to answer the questions that people will naturally have. So it's an interactive experience, much like we would have at the event itself, the face-to-face event, except people will wander up to Attendify, watch your video, and engage with you in the Q&A in the chat to ask you specific questions about your project. So we try to keep all the social elements, try to keep the visuals there, and of course your 7-minute presentation answers all the key questions about why you made it, how you made it, what effect it's had for the audience.
Yeah, and we did this digital experience for the first time at
Mhm.
DevLearn last year, and it was a big hit. Lots of people asked great questions in the chat, a lot of engagement. So you can expect that people will be asking you questions during the live Demo Fest.
Mhm. Mhm.
One really nice thing about us doing the event online is you can participate whether you're a full conference registrant for Learning Solutions, or if you've just signed up for the free Innovation Plus Pass that gets you access to the first week of the event. So if cost has been an issue that's prevented you from coming to Learning Solutions and sharing at Demo Fest in the past, this is your year.
Yeah, I think the other thing that makes it different too for us in a good way is by having the videos themselves, they'll be available to you. So if you, instead of at the event, you'd have a single night access to see these particular videos. You may have only access at that time to speak to the individual who created it. But if you can't visit all of them, you'll be able to tap into those, 4 to 7 minute videos that were created in multiple categories much longer after the event takes place.
Yeah, so if you want to show your colleague, hey, here's an idea I got from DemoFest, 5 weeks after the event, you still got the video there.
A couple of things to remember too. In the past, there has been like a people's choice voting on our demos. That's not something we're going to enable. So if you're curious about that, it's not something we're going to have in place for this. But the upside is you do get an opportunity, if you're presenting, to share to a very large audience and know that you're going to be able to have more and more people dipping in and seeing your videos well past the actual event time that takes place at the LSDX.
So we don't have any attendee questions. We must have covered everything. So anything we want to do to kind of wrap things up here, little pointers?
Yeah, I think it's more of it's more of the imposter syndrome thing you need to overcome. We get a lot of people are like, again, it's like Bianca started this with, and that is, it's kind of looking and saying you do have something to share. We're all doing amazing work in learning and development, and we all have to be creative and innovative in our own context. And that insight that you can share with another person is extremely valuable and puts you out there. Getting that feedback is great, but also helping somebody else that you might never have been able to help. We're creating that space for you. So take a look at what you're doing, and if you have any ideas and you're wondering if it's a good fit, there's always time just to reach out to Bianca or myself at the programs at Learning Guild email and ask us, and we'll give you some feedback if you're heading in the right direction.
Yeah, and I'll add, I've done DemoFest, the in-person version myself, and it is so much fun getting to talk with people, whether it's in person or in this case online, about a project, kind of dig it. You get to nerd out about your project with other people who care about what went into your project. And I think it's an incredibly enjoyable experience. So if you have something you might want to share, I'd say give it a shot. I don't think you'll regret it.
Oh, the other thing I'll add at the end here is, if you've ever been to DemoFest and the ballroom experience and the limitations on drinks, you're only really getting about 5 beer choices and a couple, you come to the digital, you can get whatever you want out of your fridge, or if you have a home bar, you can mix it up and keep that same vibe, if you will.
Okay, so come to Digital DemoFest, BYOB?
Yes, there it is.
Or bring your own Shirley Temples if you're me, because that's what I always drink at DemoFest. So deadline for DemoFest. You've got until, double checking the dates, April 9th, 2021 to submit your project video. And we're closing the proposal form on April 2nd. So get your first step, the part that only takes a few minutes, in by April 2nd, and then you've got another week to get in those videos we talked about, or you can submit them early. And the proposal form will tell you all about how to submit those videos.
Yep. And again, don't hesitate to reach out to Bianca or myself if you have any other questions beyond watching this, and any ideas you want to float past us before you dive into that proposal form. Happy to answer that. We actually get back to you within 48 hours, so give us a little bit of lead time.
Yeah, and you can reach out to programs at learningguild.com. So programs with an S at the end at learningguild.com, and you'll reach both of us.
Yep. Perfect.
All right, I think that's it. So looking forward to seeing your proposals.
I'll see you at the next meeting, Bianca.
Okay, bye-bye.
See ya.